What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the SD'Experience, where I break down to you pieces of my new book, Me, Myself, and Time, available now on Amazon. Now, remember I discussed with you that this is not your ordinary podcast. This podcast is just short videos of me breaking down chapters of this book and also just, giving you little details about who I am, where I came from, and why this book came about. Okay? Last episode, I took you guys to Haiti. I took you to the voodoo. I introduced to you my auntie, Catherine, the voodoo queen, who put voodoo on my mom, and then we moved out of her home. Okay? This episode, I want to discuss with you guys, I want to talk to you guys about bullies. And the reason being, I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of questions about this specific bully in this book. And I just want to let you guys know that we forgave this bully as she only knew what she was taught. And we're moving on from it, but that doesn't mean we don't get to address it. Okay? Now, bully for me started since I was a little boy. Started, a little child, literally. When I was in Haiti, all the adults, and ironically, I wasn't bullied by my peers. I was bullied by adults who would call me gay. They would call me Masisi, to be exact, since I was a little boy. I've never looked at a boy. I never knew anything about the, the bees and the whatever. My mother never taught me these things. My mother never talked to me about what made me different, I've only seen her argue with people who would, call me those words, who would make fun of me. But she never sat me down to talk to me about what makes me different, the difference between a boy and a girl, and, love. She don't talk to me about none of these things. The only thing my mother, taught me was how to cook and clean chair. And, and I'm not blaming her. I forgave my mother too. And this specific bully here, she was a very special bully because it felt different. Everything about her it felt different the way she treated me. It started small. It started with picking on me. When I was a little boy, I used to eat a lot, and shoot, I still eat a lot right now. And to today, she still use this. She's about me eating a whole pot of rice and everything, right? And if people don't see that, what I'm saying here is true because she still utilized this same very, statement to describe me. How, I lied since I was a little boy and I ate a whole pot of rice. That's the only way that she can describe me. And it's crazy because you have to be, I don't believe that children's lie. I believe that adults have ways of changing their faces. Okay? And where she would show me her true face, she showed everybody else something different. Okay? And I'm going to take you back to where it all started. I was bullied a lot. I was bullied by adults. They would call me words, that were very unpleasant. And I watched my mother. My mother used to argue with them a lot. So this is nothing that I'm, lying about, since, and I find it kind of disrespectful for you to hold me accountable for things that, I did as a child, because you can't point me to a child that did not misbehave. You can't point me to a teenager who did not, act up. And what I want you parents to take away from this is that pay attention to your children. Pay attention to behavioral changes. Because when children are being bullied, they become silent. They feel like they cannot share it with, people. And now I have these grown-ass people calling me liar because now it's becoming disrespectful to my adulthood, because what you're saying is that my story is a lie. What you're saying is that my childhood is a lie, and I would not tolerate that at all. Okay? Let's go to Haiti. Things for Rosemary would soon get better. Life in Haiti could never be perfect. Life isn't perfect. But with a lot of prayer and consistency, it could get better. My mother started a cooking business near the church. It seemed like everything we did from that day on was near the church. I think my mother felt protected there. Things started to look brighter. Well, for me at least. Turns out we had family after all. A man came to the town and my life would change forever. I was 10 years old when I met a man named Roger, who said he known me since birth. Said he was my father. I still remember this unexplainable feeling. It was like more to me that I had not met yet, and I was about to. I still remember meeting him. He didn't look like us. He looked clean, like he was from a richer side of town. I had never met anyone like him before, flashy, with his jewelries, nice clothes, and smelling good. He hugged me, and it felt real, like he knew me. I felt important to him, and I was excited. I was excited for what to come. He came to rescue me from the unspeakable life of Haiti. I would soon move with this man and his family to the U.S., but first, I had to learn more about myself and about him. We traveled to his side of town. That's where I met his wife, Abigail, and his son, Chris, who was only 4 years younger than me. They lived in Haiti too, but their life seemed better, cleaner, more put together. His wife already knew who I was, but I had no memories of her. I never had a little brother. So I was excited to meet Chris. I assumed the feeling was mutual. Chris didn't have any siblings either, but I was different from him, different from any kid I had ever met. For a second, I wondered why I never met them before. But I was just a kid, excited to be a part of something, and even more excited to be away from where I came from. Abigail and her family all seemed a little more upscale than anyone I had ever met. In Haiti, they call that Gigi, French, slang for bougie. They acted like they already knew me, but their memories didn't match mine. I knew nothing of them. I didn't understand how they could know so much about me and my mother while we lived just a town away, struggling to survive. I wasn't the smartest, but I could sense things about people. And I could sense one thing clearly. Abigail was not a fan of me. At first, I thought it was about me, but it was something more. I'll find out later. I've been bullied before by the adults, teased, even touched. But with her, it was different. I had never had an adult belittle me the way she did. She treated me nice when others were looking, but behind closed doors, she was mean. If I did anything wrong or just not up to her standard, she made it a big deal out of it all and tell anyone who would listen. I'm gonna stop here. This is when I met Abigail, though she's met me before. Even to this day, when she talks about me like she's talking about a toddler. Like, she has nothing to say about my adulthood, you know? It's always what I did as a kid, you know? And it baffles me. Like, you know, that this person never really took the opportunity to get to know me. All she did was tease me. I remember when I was in school, I used to dread going home after school because I had a bully at home. I didn't like going home. And I have my peers that can confirm that. I never liked going home after school because I had a bully at home. And like I've said, I forgave her since then. It's just now as an adult, there's no accountability being taken. And being called a liar is disrespectful to me because what you're telling me is that my story is a lie, that my childhood trauma is a lie, when it's not. I've went through these things. I went through them since I was in Haiti. I didn't wake up one day, like I mentioned before, and said, ooh, I'm telling, this is everything that's been going on with me. No, I've had to face these things. And I know as Haitians, you know, we sweep things under the rug. We don't face our traumas. We just pass it along to the next generation. But this, it stops with me, okay? I've been writing about my guardians when I was under the same roof with them. I was writing since I was 14 or 15 years old. Every day I would write every little thing that they did to me unfairly. Mostly about Abigail, you know. I argued with this woman like I was an adult. I felt grown before I was old enough, you know. And honestly, I can't tell you how I, you know, just moved on from all of this. But I did because God chose me, you know. And now I'm inspiring the next generation to tell your story. So like, share, subscribe. This video will be in my YouTube. See you next time where I discuss another chapter, another topic of me, myself, and time. Thank you for watching.